The last game we got on this episode of the MeepleCore podcast is La Granja.
Designed by Michael Keller and Andreas Odendahl. The artist is Harald Lieske, and it's published by Stronghold.
Now, I don't know if it's La Granja or Lagrange or La Granja.
America.
La Granja is how I'm pronouncing it for right now. I'm sure we'll get comments, but that's cool. So La Granja is basically a dice drafting game. You're going to have so many dice. There's a board in the middle. Everybody gets this player board in front of them. The player board is kind of got this weird shape to it so that you can put cards underneath of it. We'll come back to that in a minute. Basically, there's going to be, I'm pretty sure, 2 dice per player plus 1. So in a 4-player game, you're going to have 9 dice. And they're all going to be rolled by the first player and then put next to the main board to their slot. There's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a 6 slot that you put them next to. And then in turn order, you're going to draft a die and do the action. You know, the first number 1 is, I think, get a pig, and then number 2 is get like a resource or whatever. So
number 3 is get 2 resources, not of the same type. Number 4, get 4 coins. Number 5,
Eric's got a picture, I think. Oh, it doesn't really matter, but you basically draft a die, you do its action, and then the next player goes, and so on and so forth. Once all players have drafted 2 dice, there's 1 left, which is the 9th die, and then everyone gets to do that action. The biggest thing about the game, though, is you got a deck of cards, and each card can be used in multiple different ways. So when you get to play a card, which is one of the actions, you can do it a couple of different things. You can take the card and slot it into the top of your board, and you only see the top part of the card, which is like an order that you can make, like a delivery kind of deal. So it might want these 3 resources, and then if you complete it, you're going to get this reward kind of deal. Or you can take the card and put it to the left or right. If you put it to the left, it's going to give you fields in which you can generate more, resources, you can grow grapes, or you can grow olives or whatever.
Or wheat.
If you put it on the right side of your board, it's going to increase your hand size, possibly. It's also going to give you more rooms for pigs, and it might give you more income, depending on what the layout of the card is. The last thing you can use the card for is to slot it underneath, and it only, each time you put this card over, it's basically it's obscuring everything but that one section of the card. And this will give you the middle part of the card, which is basically a special ability. And it tells you how it works and what phase and such. You're basically trying to complete orders that are on your board or on the main board. There's these 6 different spots you can go to complete an order, which you got to get different resources. There's those olives and wheat and pigs and grapes can all be converted into a second resource. Like grape can turn into wine. The wheat can turn, and olives can turn into food. Pigs can go into meat, and you may need those in order to complete these orders. Basically, if you complete the orders on the board, you get to put one of your little cubes. Your cube is actually used for everything. There's all these little spots of circles that you put a cube in, and whatever circle it's in, it's called a den. It represents how many of that one resource you have. Anyway, you're going to put these on the main board if you complete orders out there, and then, there's like a little system where you can knock people off their little huts. It's kind of like the marketplace, and so you move in and take a part of the market, and you've ran the other person out kind of deal. Anyway, you're going to get points or whatever by doing all this stuff. And then the victory points are all little tokens. They're all hidden and everything. So as you do actions, you're going to generate these victory points and put them face down in front of you. And you play the game. How many rounds was it? I can't remember. Was it so many rounds?
Oh, that I don't remember.
I don't even remember now. Well, you play the game to a certain point, and then the game will end. I thought it was 6 rounds. I think it's 6 rounds, yeah, because each round you take the little the roof tokens, and you flip them out, and everybody has a chance to buy those. Then you begin the round. You do all the drafting. At the end of that, you flip out the next roof tiles, and there's, I think, 6 slots of roof tiles that you're going to play through. At the end, you count up whoever has the most points, and whoever has the most points is the winner.
Yeah, you're right. I think you have 5 on your board, but it allowed you to have 1 where you didn't buy.
Right.
Is that right?
That's right.
So I'll start off on this one. First off, the reason I wanted to get this game is because we played the
No
Siesta dice game version. I wouldn't say dice game, but smaller, like roll and write game, where it kind of has the very similar feel, where you roll a bunch of dice and each person drafts, and the last die gives it to everyone. And I thought that was awesome. I really like that.
That game, if you want a smaller version of this game, that game kind of hits it on the head.
Same feel.
Yeah, well, what it does is it takes the dice drafting mechanism and makes it its own little game, and that's it. This, if you want more than that, this takes that exact same concept, but adds all those cards in which they can be used 4 different ways.
Yeah.
And that by far is the most overwhelming thing. And it's awesome. I love it. I love games where you can take a card and be like, I can use this in 4 different ways.
Yeah.
I can use this card that'll generate resources to complete this order. Oh, wait, I need that for that special ability. Crap. You know, you're deciding what you want to do with those cards. And it's almost like there's no wrong answer.
Oh, there's a wrong answer sometimes. Some of those abilities, you don't want to waste that card. The helper abilities on the bottom.
I don't know, man. Some of them I looked and I'm like, I could use this ability, but it might only happen to me twice throughout the game.
Yeah,
but I can complete the order, move it along, and get another card in that spot. Because the special abilities are good; they come out, but you know, I don't feel like some of my special abilities I feel like I should have just replaced. Like I should have put them out, used them a few times, put another card out in its place or whatever.
I liked mine.
Yeah, the ones I put down, I got good use out of. So
yeah, well, I think one of them I didn't, but it's whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, I really like it. It was the rule book sucks.
Does it?
Yeah. I don't know if I was just an off day or something. I need to go back and reread the book, but I feel like it's one of those rule books where they have their own terminology for everything. And it's very specific terminology. Like if it says market, it's really talking about this specific thing. And you can't just kind of assume what it means. You have to really follow its wording.
Right.
Because there's not a lot of like little drawn examples and things like that. Or even like a paragraph of what to do. And then a paragraph that's like in italics. That's an example that you can skip over. Doesn't have a lot of that. So I don't know. Maybe I'll reread it and see if it was just me. But I feel like typically when I read a rule book, I know immediately if it's like very hard to follow or if it's really written really well. And I'm not too fond of this one, but I feel like the game is simple enough that once you play it and you get it, you don't really need to reference the rulebook any. So it's not a big deal. But anyway, what'd you think, Matt?
You know, just going off what you just said, it is it's simplistic, but it is overwhelming at the beginning when you get all the rules.
Yeah, it seems that way, but
you know, once you go through a time or two, man, you got it. It's easy enough to figure out. You know, I do like the dice drafting. That's always fun. And the little decision of you actually are looking around and going, which one of these, like if you got the last pick, is like, which one of these is actually going to benefit everybody?
Right.
And so I want to pick the thing that people maybe already have or don't have spaces to put and they won't benefit from it and all this stuff.
Kind of like that Puerto Rico.
Yeah, kind of. So you got a little, I guess, a hate draft kind of going on. Not really taking things away from people, but not trying to benefit them too much on what you leave.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's, you know, one of the things I noticed, it seemed like at the end when we were doing our scores, I like the fact that I love the multi-purpose cards. The fact that everyone can kind of go different routes to achieve victory, and
you're
the
kind of doing a little bit of everything, but you can definitely focus a little bit more on one of these routes.
Yeah, because it seemed like Tim's mom was going definitely more filling orders, where I was doing more of just trying to do the board. And everybody seemed like they scored right around the same. It wasn't too over, you know, lopsided one way or the other. So
Eric, did you win that?
Yeah, I think so.
Like everybody else, I think was within 3 or 4 points, and then Eric was like maybe 8 points higher.
Yeah, he was kind of, he had a big gap, but then me, you, and your mother was all right there together.
Yeah, so I think even with the first play, that went pretty well. I mean, I literally was looking around and thinking that some actions were like, you know, like maybe my mom, like I'm like, because at first she wasn't kind of getting it, and I'm like, wow, I don't know if she's making the best decisions, but in the end, she obviously made good decisions.
I'm not gonna lie, I was like, when your mom was playing, I was like, I don't think she's going to do very good. she wasn't that far behind me.
Oh no,
you know,
yeah, she was, I think 2 points behind.
Yeah, so like I said, but she was going a completely different route. I guess I just wasn't necessarily watching what she was doing close enough.
Right, because I don't think she had many things out in the market, and the fact that she came that close without even playing that portion of it, that's pretty cool.
Right.
So the game is solid. It's got solid mechanisms. It's very fiddly.
Yeah.
It would have been nice if the player boards were like double the thickness and like had like a little gap that you can slot them in there and easily pull them off.
Or maybe just a little bit bigger.
Yeah, because we were having trouble with the cards hitting each other on the underneath. So that was a little frustrating at times.
Although if we had like a plate mat on my table rather than just playing on the wood,
right,
it might have changed things. But overall, though, it was kind of fiddly in that aspect because you start putting the card in there and all your little tokens on your board shift around and stuff. I mean, the good news is it's so fascinating and so awesome that it's worth the, it's not like we're playing Betrayal at House on the Hill, Betrayal on the House of the Hill, where like everything's really fiddly and the components just are terrible, and it's like,
oh, you're right.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh, is this even worth it? This is totally worth it. It's not that fiddly, but it is kind of annoying sometimes. But overall, man, I'm really happy I bought it. And I still think, though, I'll probably end up getting No Siesta because I really like No Siesta. And I really like this. But this is like the perfect example to compare to Nations and the Nations dice game.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
They're both good
Eric was
games.
Describing it.
And, if you want to play this game, but you don't have that much time, you play No Siesta.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
still get the kind of the feeling for it or the feel of the game.
You're like, I want an expansion. Time to play the main game.
Right.
Yeah, so pretty good stuff. I'm really enjoying it. Anyway, that's any final thoughts?
No, you guys pretty much said it all. I don't think I had anything to add to that.
We totally skipped over Eric. Sorry, Eric.
But there's all kinds of mechanics in this game, and there is a lot to think about, and turns are fast, so there's not a lot of downtime. So that's another thing that I like about this game is you're constantly thinking and planning. You don't have a lot of time to plan because, like I said, the turns go by really fast, but
you do bring up a good point because I feel like this game should have had a lot more AP with the amount of choices on the cards and trying to think of the right thing to do and how to use them in the right order.
Right.
But our group, even for a first play, we breezed through that pretty well.
Yeah.
So that went pretty well, I think. But I can see some groups maybe playing this and be like,
oh my goodness, what am I supposed to do?
Steve, make a decision.
Yeah.
Anyway, anything else?
No, that's it.
All right, cool. Well, that's La Granja.